Norm, you've always been my inspiration.
Aw,
Well,
always?
Well, I mean, you've always been fun to watch. But even, like when you won your 39th and 40th title at your age,
Yeah.
older than most of the guys you're competing against.
54.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's how old I am now. So it's inspiring to me, and I thought I could do it. And now you've decided to not compete anymore.
Right.
Now I'm like, where's my inspiration? Like you're making that decision look cool. So now I wonder, like maybe I should retire.
Well, first of all, thank you. For me to inspire anybody is awesome. And then, to not compete anymore is not bad. I mean, like you said,
Yeah.
I've made it look cool. No, it wasn't me. It really was all of the bowling community making it cool for me.
Yeah.
And now I get to enjoy so much that it's just gifted. I didn't see all that coming. I thought as soon as I cease to compete anymore, well then that's the end. Out of sight, out of mind.
No.
No, it's not that way at all.
You'll probably be out there more now.
More now on
right?
the road, yeah.
You have more
yeah.
time to do other things.
Correct. And not near as much time training. And I'll still go to the gym all the time, of
Right.
course, but I'm not going to the gym training for a specific event or a specific task. I just do it because I love it and it's fun now. So I have so much more time to do things like that. And to still be involved in the bowling world without throwing a bowling ball and
Yep.
the pain of losing. We lose 95 or 97% of everything we bowl. So
have.
most of the time it's not that much fun, right?
Yeah. No.
But, oh man, and you said I inspired you. Go get them, girl. You got this.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I have it in me. It's a lot of sacrifice, right? Like
Right.
I have a job,
Yeah, and your kid.
right?
Yeah.
Young, and you
Yeah.
have to have a lot of time to do what you did.
Right,
do what
and
we
the
did,
sacrifice
right?
is something that I will for all my life I will miss not being there every day for Brandon. You
Yeah.
know, and as great as friends and relationship as I have with my son, that's something I can't get back.
Yeah, sacrifice. There's
Yeah.
probably a lot of sacrifices you made, not being around and travel and.
But in the end, my son occasionally just comes and says something like, well, Dad, look at what you accomplished. And when he says something like that, it makes it all worth it.
Yeah, he knows.
He knows, and he
Yeah.
sacrificed right alongside with
Yep.
me, as my wife did,
Yep.
and as your family, of
Yep.
course. It's not something that we can just take them where we're going every time, right? So there will be sacrifices, but hey, it's minimal in
Reward.
relationship
right?
to your reward. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, who would I be if I didn't throw a bowling ball, right? So
That's-
Leanne, let's talk about rivalries.
Ooh, we probably
you
had a
have
lot
any?
of them, huh?
Did you have any rivalries?
I think I didn't have like a one-person rivalry. I bowled against, you meet a lot of the same people, right?
Right.
TV show-wise. Wendy, I bowled against Wendy a lot.
She was good.
Nikki G in my
G,
in
yes.
the early years was my idol, so to bowl against her all the time was not really a rivalry, but when you bowl against your idol, that's kind of tough.
Did anybody have your number?
Honestly, I don't think so. Like
No?
I was pretty I don't know. I mean, I don't want that to sound weird or anything, but I was never like, oh, I got to bowl that person again. I mean,
No.
If I look at like the TV records and stuff, I bet you Wendy and I are like 50-50, and I don't know. Maybe Carolyn. I mean, I don't know. Like it just depends on the ratios. I don't know. Like, what about you?
Well, you said you didn't fear anybody, neither did I, but
Right.
looking back, yeah, Dave Ferraro. Oh my
Ah.
gosh, he had my number. And then right when I got real good, he quit and retired.
He did.
So I
He
never
didn't
got
go
him
very
back.
long,
I
yeah.
never got to get my digs in,
Who else?
Brian Voss.
Your buddy.
Yeah, my best friend at the time. He and I, when we bowled one another, it was never 170 to 180. It was like we just both rose to the occasion. it was almost like we knew we were going to have dinner later on and we didn't want to be the loser of the deal, right? Well, boy, did we take each other. In fact, a lot of our titles, he and mine, we helped propel the one just by making them grind it, making them dig. And I'll never forget that. We had really, a lot of matches too, 40 years.
I bet. And you guys were both good at the same, you know, like when you guys both peaked, you were probably bowling against each other a lot.
A lot, yeah. Yeah, there's some people that you don't bowl against much. Like, I'd never bowled Mark Roth on television. As many years as I bowled out there. Marshall Holman and I, never on television.
Wow.
And Earl was, you know, just a little bit for me, but I bowled him on television, but not those two. So tell me, how about you?
My last title was my most sentimental. You know, my favorite tournament is the U.S. Open. Always loved it. Loved the long format. Loved just, you know, everything about it. And I had a second, a third, couple fourths, couple fifths over the years. You know, I led.
In that event.
I led by 400 one year and lost. You know, like I had everything of the U.S. Open except the win.
Yeah.
And then after our tour ended and stuff, you know, they had the U.S. Open every year, but there was no tour. But the year 2011 in Dallas, at Dallas
Texas
Cowboy
Stadium, yeah.
was one of the biggest U.S. Opens ever. And I was married at the time, you know, was married and with little Barrett. He was only 2, so it was my family win. You know, it was
in a stadium,
most sentimental in the biggest venue.
Yeah.
I had never bowled in a stadium before. We had a couple on tour of stadium finals, and I never had bowled there. So all of my years of grief of losing the U.S. Open paid off big time for that one. So, and that was my last win.
Was Jerry Jones or Tony Romo there?
I don't know. I mean, we got a tour, which made it easier. Like that morning of the show, they toured, and we got to play football on the field and stuff. So we were acclimated. We didn't just walk out there and bowl, but it was very memorable and very cool experience.
Kind of like Danny Wiseman when he won in Milwaukee in the stadium.
Yep.
I had never got that experience, but if you ask him that, you know, so I can imagine how sweet that would have been. And
that was cool.
Yeah.
To go from my first title. So my first title I won, I was by myself. I was 19. Nothing, you know, like didn't have a celebration really or anything, and then.
Well, you couldn't drink.
Right. You couldn't.
Couldn't even have a mimosa afterward.
Right. And then, you know, to that one. So. It all comes full circle at some point, right?
I think the family part motivated me more than anything.
Yeah.
You're now responsible for more than just one person. And I wanted to impress her. I wanted to, you know, show off.
Yeah.
So Karen went with me for the first couple of years, and she was sitting in the seat watching, nervous, and you know, I look back and I go, wow, that must have been a really bad 2 years for her, because there wasn't a lot to do but go and watch bowling. But if it hadn't have been for her there, then I think I would have never flipped it and turned it around and been as relevant. So gosh, marriage to me and my career was huge.
So Norm, in our careers, we've thrown a lot of different equipment. Urethane, plastic, resin, and now we have this.
Reactive resin. You know, if it wasn't for the plastic days and the rubber days, I don't believe that we would have learned to bowl with the new and improved equipment. In fact, I think it kind of helped us adapt. But, you know, if it wasn't for my alliance with Storm, I don't know what my career would look like. I really don't. I went through a couple of companies before here, but the day I said I choose Storm, I had enough credentials that I could pretty much choose whatever company, and I said, oh no, there's only one for me. I'm gonna do this the rest of my life because I wanna make my body of work the very best it can be. And I'm so very happy about that. So tell me, how long have you been with Storm?
About 12 years now.
12 years?
Yeah, best decision I've ever made. You know, like you always wonder when things happen, why they happen, you know, and there's always a reason. And just being with Storm lets me give back to bowling in the way I want to. There's a certain point in my career when I realized how great bowling had been to me and that I wanted to give back to the sport. and I try that in many different ways, and my job at Storm lets me do that as well. So good
Right,
decision
you not
on
only
both our parts.
you not only roll with Storm, you also work
Yeah.
at the home office with Storm. So
yeah.
I,
Great
you know what?
decision.
Oh, absolutely, for both of us. I don't think we would be quite who we are without our alliance with Storm.
Agreed.
Thank you.